Hey, good morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update. I think you better sit back and grab a cup of coffee for this one. We got it pretty well sorted out. A major storm system heading toward Michigan for Sunday night, Monday, even Monday night. So a long drawn out affair. And it's a March storm. So that means southern half of the state, or a little more than southern half, gets into heavy rain, thunderstorms, and severe weather, severe thunderstorms possible in some kind of situations like this. And then it looks like now there will be a strip of probably what we would consider a major ice storm, half-inch of ice or more. Some of the models head to about 1.5 inches on the highest end where the ice is the heaviest. So that's significant. And then north of that ice storm, a very heavy snow, 10 to 20 inches, and in the UP, maybe over 2 feet of snow. So let's get on into it. I gave you kind of the verbal summary there. And some of you are saying, what about today? Like northern Michigan, Traverse City's had 6 wet inches of snow. And so the winter weather advisory in northern lower Michigan is for today's precipitation, where you have a couple of inches of snow left, and the winter storm warning also for the UP. Hiding underneath that is a winter storm watch for the next storm. But let's cover the southern part of the state right now. By the way, I'm trying something different here with a split monitor. I'm hoping that I can see you. And I can't. It's trying to, but still not working for me on the chat. So I'll be back. I got a new phone, and that's going to get set up today. So the brown from Bay County to Mount Pleasant over to Pentwater and Ludington southward, a high wind warning for gusts up to 55 miles an hour this afternoon, maybe 60. Here's the radar right now. We've had a burst of snow in basically from Saginaw into the northeast. I looked at the road cameras for Grand Rapids, Lansing, Kalamazoo. You're okay. You're a lot of different roads than, and even it looked like at Flint southward, the roads were just wet, but Saginaw area, the roads are snowy and slick, the thumb too. And then as you head north into northern lower Michigan, the roads are really a mess because it's a very wet snow. I'm imagining it throws your car around a lot. Let's back up, big picture, okay? So here we see the storm over us right now, and that would be a doozy in itself, but the next one looks stronger too, and you can already see the cloud shield stretching from the Dakotas back to the Pacific Northwest. That's our basically Sunday night, Monday night storm system. All right, now let's continue on with today and what we can expect. So we'll start with the radar forecast. And because this is a churning upper level low, it kind of doesn't totally end. This is noon. Ann Arbor, Detroit, Jackson, Lansing, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo. Eventually Saginaw, you're going to have a warm up and wet road. So things will improve in the southern 2/3 of the state, let's say, during the next few hours. If you have to go somewhere in the Saginaw area, wait an hour or two, and I think as it slows down and changes to rain, the roads will improve. This is this afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3, 4 o'clock. So another area of precipitation, kind of disorganized, spurty, can be kind of heavy in short increments. This is 5 o'clock. So we've got messy weather. Probably not so much that it affects the roads significantly in the southern half of the state. And we go into the evening, it's still snowing in Traverse City and Gaylord and Mackinac City over to Alpena, winding down. Tomorrow, a good day to travel if you want to. Tomorrow, the best period. Here's the total additional snowfall for today. Let me grab the high resolution rapid refresh. Remember, we love that because it comes in every hour and it's very accurate in the short term, first 6 to 12 hours. That's what it says for the rest of today. It just keeps piling it up through the evening hours in the northern half. So from Clare northward, Traverse City, Cadillac, you could have another 2 to 4 inches. There could be 4 to 6 inches as you head north toward the Mackinac Bridge. If it's open, I don't know. It's been closed a lot lately. But southern lower, Saginaw, southward, little, if any, additional accumulation today. Okay, remember a high wind warning in effect. Let me grab also the latest here. We'll use the high resolution rapid refresh for this also. Maybe. Let's hope. It looks like the winds increase as we go through the afternoon. Okay, so here's the wind gust forecast. Let's go to noon. And the strong winds now in the southwest corner sweeping in to Ann Arbor and Detroit, gusting up to 50 miles an hour by noon. Also all along I-94 and into Grand Rapids. A little bit lesser gusts up towards Saginaw and the Thumb in the 40s. And then northern lower Michigan under the pivot point of that upper level low has lighter wind. Now this afternoon the winds crank up. So this is 4 o'clock this afternoon, and yes, you're seeing 59, 60 miles an hour. So I'm calling it 55 mile an hour gusts. Weather Service says up to 60. Seems plausible. Grand Rapids to Lansing to Jackson to Ann Arbor to Detroit, especially that zone, Ann Arbor, Detroit, southeast lower Michigan. Very rough driving. Fortunately, it will not be snowy. This is into this evening, 7 o'clock. Still going. And this is 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Still some gusts into the 60 mile an hour range in the Thumb and the Detroit area. And when do the winds come down? About midnight to 3, 4 a.m. They start to really diminish. So we've got a windy period on the way. That's the first most significant thing. We go into tomorrow, like I said, if you have some traveling, if you're saying, well, boy, spring break's starting, we got to get out of here Saturday morning, you are absolutely correct. You got to get out of here before the next storm. And you can already see the wind field building up for the next storm as we run it out to late Saturday night. Okay, so here we go. I apologize, folks. I'm having a lot of sneezes today. Feels like allergies, I guess, because I feel okay. I just don't sound the greatest. Okay, so here we go with the next storm, which, we're calling a major storm system, and it is. It's a major winter storm across the UP, major winter storm, and possibly major ice storm, northern third of lower Michigan. And then it is a rain and thunderstorms to eventually snow for all of the rest of lower Michigan, including southern lower Michigan. But when that happens, the accumulations are pretty well minimized. So that's what you're seeing in this scenario. The track is not etched in stone yet. So what the trend has been is for the storm to be continued strong and inching northward, which inches every zone of weather northward. It inches the pure rain northward, it inches the ice storm northward, it inches the pure snowstorm northward. So, but here's what we got right now. So here's our storm from today. Again, this would be a doozy if we didn't have this big moisture monster coming on Sunday. Here is midday Saturday. That's about the best travel you're going to get. So escape, and even Saturday morning. So if you're planning on an early leave, a lot of folks that leave Michigan, try to get south of Atlanta, say, if you're driving toward Florida, early morning should be A-okay. You're good to go. But don't wait until Sunday for a lot of you. So this is Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Snow's going in Traverse City, across to Alpena, maybe down to Bay City. Mixture, Flint, Big Rapids, Grand Rapids, maybe rain showers just south of that. And then here comes the storm system. Now, Sunday, look at Sunday afternoon. Southeast Michigan could get into the dry, warm sector and head well into the 60s, maybe 70 degrees. While it's an ice storm in Houghton Lake and Gaylord and maybe Traverse City, the rain line might come up into Cadillac, and it's a heavy snow from Charlevoix northward. And then look at Sunday afternoon and evening. That does not look good. What does that pink represent? That represents this one represents 1 hour freezing rain amounts. But I'll give you a better look in a little bit. So, ice storm, Traverse City, Gaylord, about the same places that they were before. And then here comes the main low pressure center across to the center of the state, keeping the southern 2/3 in the warm sector. This is a spring storm for anywhere from, let's say, Mount Pleasant southward. And Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, just going to be bizarre in Ann Arbor and Detroit as temperatures soar. And timing might be such that we escape severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, but we will have to watch it closely. There's your ice storm Sunday night in the Traverse City area, all into northern lower Michigan. Then the storm center tracks to Lake Huron, continues to deepen in. There's your cold front sweeping through on Monday morning in the southeast. Temperatures start to take a nosedive, and then here comes the wraparound snow on the west side of the state on Monday. Typically, you don't get a ton there, but we're going to get a kind of a rare burst of lake effect. So Monday is a fully snowy day. Eastern half of the state, I think it's an inch or two. Western half, a couple of inches, and in northern lower, it's a flat-out snowstorm. So let's try to cover some of this. Okay, now remember, as I show you these, remember, the zones can still shift. And, you know, right now we're targeting Traverse City area for an ice storm, Houghton Lake, Gaylord, Grayling. Can that shift 25 miles, get Traverse City out of the ice storm, put it in Charlevoix, put it in Petoskey? Yes, it could. Can it shift southward 25 miles? Probably not. I don't see anything in the north that would inch the storm down. So all the zones would move. So my point is, this is still tentative. And anytime you look at snowfall totals and there can be a mixed in there, I go toward the lower end. So you're going to see some 20-inch, 24-inch snow forecasts. That'll probably happen far northern lower and into the UP. But where you get the freezing rain and rain, it mashes it down, and you might be talking 10 or 12 inches there. So again, we'll give this with a big asterisk that it's going to change some, and the fact that it's 2 snows. So this is the rest of the snow for today. And I would call it 3 to 6 inches. So, you know, what you got to do is take like something like Traverse City as a city of interest. 7 inches total out of this today. We're going to add on to that, so we'll have to subtract off the 7 inches. And generally, we'll do that everywhere. So here's Sunday. Into Monday. Let's just run it through the whole storm to keep it simple. Call it done by Tuesday morning everywhere. And so you see 22 inches in Traverse City. I would say no. I would say 10 to 15. You see 36 at Petoskey. Probably overdone, but probably 24. So let's call it 2 feet from somewhere up in Emmett, Sheboygan County on across the UP. Then let's call it 10 to 20 inch strip, and then I'll show you the major ice storm area. Now, for those of us in the southern half of the state, 1, 2, 3 inches probably. Maybe on the west side, west of Grand Rapids, you might be looking at 4 or 5 by the time it's all said and done, with a little bit of lake enhancement. Now here's the scary part, okay? So I do want to let you know that over the years, I pride myself in the fact that it's weather, very few are extremely impactful storms. We get some severe weather outbreaks with tornadoes. We always highlight that. This one looks like a significant ice storm for some strip. And I'm going to tell you flat out that we still have to get this storm a lot closer before we're convinced exactly where the ice storm will set up. So this is just a start to show you the magnitude, that it's not, some of these ices, the heaviest band has a tenth, a quarter, flirts with a ½ inch of ice. This one's going to be well over a ½ inch of ice wherever it's the ice storm, probably approaching an inch in a lot of places, and maybe heading toward an 1.5 inches of ice in some other places. So here we go. So this is the total freezing rain off of the model that I would say is most reliable right now. And remember, the storm is in 2 pieces, still out over the Pacific Ocean, and will deepen in right over Michigan. So here's through Sunday evening. You see kind of where the ice storm is shaping up. Frankfort, Leelanau County, Traverse City, Gaylord, Grayling to Alpena, Rogers City. And it's a distinct zone. North of that, you're mostly heavy snow. South of it, you're mostly rain changing to snow. But we go through Sunday night into Monday, and this is what this does for the ice. Total freezing rain. You see a 1.7. Where would that be? That'd be about, call it Houghton Lake. You see a 1.7 toward Alpena and Oscoda. Probably a little overdone, but who cares? Over an inch, we would consider it a major ice storm. You see a 1.3 on Traverse City. Again, imagine this zone. It could shift 25 miles farther to the north. It probably will not shift 25 miles to the south, and we will have to continue to watch it. Okay, so those of you in the potential ice storm area right now, you should, hopefully you have a generator. If you don't, you will after this one, because we all need it now. With the volatile weather, even before the changing climate, you should have had something like this. You test it out, put some fresh gas in it today or tomorrow, and then remember, it's March, so as soon as we get the sunshine back, things change fairly dramatically. So I'll end it with a positive note that here are the high temperatures. So today, southern Michigan, no problem, in the 40s. Northern Michigan, you might inch above freezing, and the roads really help out, even though it's snowing and colder aloft. This is tomorrow. A lot of places get above freezing, especially in the north. That will help. That will help right now. In southern, lower, no problem, in the 40s. Look at Sunday. 67 in Ann Arbor and Jackson, Kalamazoo. Might be conservative. If you broke out into a touch of sun, you might be 70, 72 degrees. Might be 60 up towards Saginaw, then a little strip of 50s, then a little strip of 40s, and you get north of Cadillac on Sunday, and you're 32-ish. And you could see why the freezing rain ice storm zone is setting up where it's at. Again, Frankfort, Leelanau County to Traverse City to Charlevoix, Gaylord, Grayling, up to Alpena, Rogers City. Setting up there because temperatures only make it to about 31. If you got to 32, that would help a little bit. Now, Monday, on the backside, We have falling temperatures in the east. So if you see 50 in the thumb, that's probably very early in the morning, then falling temperatures. So all of us will be in the 20s to 32 degrees Monday. Tuesday, it looks like a cold day. This might be a little bit overdone based on March sunshine. You know, I could see it getting into the 20s and the sunshine making it act a little bit better. And then we start a warming trend. Wednesday into the mid to upper 30s. Thursday, 40s and 50s. Friday, we could have some 60s back, some 50s. So the ice storm area, you'll have to endure, the possibility of freezing pipes, probably for Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, and then things should improve some. Not going straight warm, but I do want to show you that the long term shows that warmth is starting to really build back to our south. Yes, you see the 80s back there as we go to March 27th, which I told my wife this. I said, man, this is kind of reminding me of 2012. Because if you remember, 2012 in March, we had a monster snowstorm. One of the craziest, heaviest in a short time period I've ever seen in my life. 2 feet of snow, Leelanau County, Benzie County, rain and thunder all over in the night. Sorry. Allergies. So kind of reminding me of that. And then remember what happened after that big storm? We went crazy warm. Now, I'm not seeing the crazy warm yet, but I'm seeing the possibility of it. So, very volatile weather situation. I'm going to keep you updated. I guess, just complex situation. The whole thing to know is that, Mount Pleasant southward, you're looking at a rain and thunderstorm event to colder roads, snowy on Monday into Monday night and Tuesday, and then better. North of Mount Pleasant, you're looking at some zone of a major ice storm, possibly including the Traverse City area. And then north of that, you're looking for a major snowstorm, 10 to 20 inches with some amounts at 2 feet or more, especially in the UP and right at what we call the tip of the mid. Watch for updates. I'll be on it all weekend along with the rest of the weather crew. That's Tonda Gemitter. And we'll keep you updated. MLive.com/weather. There's your update. I do have my new phone right now. My other one went kaput. So tech support's going to set that up for me, and then I'll be able to converse with you on the chat room when I go live. So take care, be safe, get prepared, gas up the generator and try it out, and that will ensure that none of us lose power. If we're all prepared, I found that none of us lose power. We'll get through it, and I'll leave you with the best news. Ice and snow always melt, and they will. Take care. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Watch for more through the weekend.